Representative Johnson?
Thank you. Dr. Martinez-Prather, how long have you been the director of Texas School Safety Center?
Since 2015.
Okay. And with the implementation and request for House Bill 3, Representative Allison spoke about the fact that that was effectively an unfunded mandate to schools to find money from other resources to implement the safety plan that was required by the legislature. Is that correct?
Well, the safety plan or all of the
requirements that we passed in House Bill 3, telling
It is
schools
what we've
they
heard
needed
from
to
school
do.
districts. Yes, ma'am.
We didn't provide them any money to actually do the things we required them to do.
With fidelity at 100%, no.
Okay. And that has meant schools have had to take money away from other resources to implement these safety plans mandated by the 88th legislature.
And what we've heard from certain school districts, that is the case.
Okay. Did you receive any additional monies for your agency to help you with implementing and helping facilitate these concerns?
We did.
Congratulations. I think it breaks your heart, doesn't it? Because you made a face that everybody back there couldn't see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And in fact, Governor Bush created your agency back in 1999 after Columbine. Are kids more or less safe because of this agency?
That's a pretty loaded question.
Mm-hmm. And by loaded, I'm sitting here thinking we're talking a lot about all the things we do.
Right.
And it's like talking about the symptoms of poison oak without talking about poison oak. Kids are getting shot in school with guns, right?
They are.
Your threat assessment is really about the fact that we don't address the issue of kids having access to assault weapons and slaughter other kids in schools.
I would say that the threat assessment process wasn't required until 2019.
And when you say threat assessment, you're training kids to respond to an active shooter in school, right? I think you said 40%.
School behavioral threat assessment teams encompass a multidisciplinary group of folks. So we know that it's not just...
I think we lost your mic.
I think you did too. Am I coming up now?
Yeah.
To ensure that we just weren't having a law enforcement officer addressing these issues, a principal addressing these issues, because threat assessment, depending on what that threat assessment is or what that threat looks like, it could be self-harm, it could be harm to others, that we have a group of folks coming together to really sort of figure out what is the best thing that we can do to help the student get the proper interventions that they need. I think the school behavioral threat assessment process also lends itself is that we're waiting for a threat to happen. And we shouldn't be waiting for a threat to happen. It's intended to be a preventative, proactive approach to violence prevention in schools, where we are identifying warning signs well before a student ever gets on a pathway. We know this student has been, outgoing, making good grades. All of a sudden, there's been a dip in their appearance and their grades. Someone needs to ask a question and intervene. Could be that something's going on at home or something else has transpired. And through that information gathering, we've determined social media posts. This individual's making threatening comments on their social media. We're looking a little bit further. We've talked to parents. They have acquisition to firearms. That's what this process is supposed to be about. We're not here to wait for a threat to occur, but we're here to identify concerning behaviors early on. And that was one of the things that I wanted to point out when you ask about, has this agency improve school safety? I would say that we don't see mass casualty events happening every single day. We're never going to hear about the things that we prevent or thwart. We have some indication of recent events where, students have identified concerning behaviors and reported it and spoke up. And we want them to do that because they're key stakeholders in this work as well. And we need to continue to educate not just our students and our parents, but our community members as well, that they have a part to play in being change agents in their environments as well. And so I do think that we have made improvements in terms of getting school districts to understand, one, because we weren't reviewing plans until 2019 either. School districts have been required to have emergency operation plans since 2005, but no one was ever looking at them. And so this has been an educational opportunity for us to determine, one, they were all over the place. And now we know from those initial reviews, okay, we need to hone in, provide more guidance, help them to understand what it means to have a high quality plan in place. But having a plan isn't enough. You have to exercise it, you have to drill it, because you're only as good as you exercise and drill to your plan. And I think those are the things that we have to help schools understand, that it's not just having a paper document and you're done. And I would say school districts more and more are understanding those aspects to it. So it's a very multifaceted, comprehensive approach to school safety, and there isn't any one thing that is going to solve this issue. It's all of these things have to happen together and simultaneously.
And obviously, you've taken this job very seriously since you took the job. And June 1st, 2022, Governor Abbott sent you a letter after Uvalde and said, though much has been done, there is a clear, convincing, and urgent need to continue and expand upon the work the Texas School Safety Center and school districts across the state are doing. The state must work beyond writing words on paper and ensuring that laws are being followed. It must also ensure that a culture of constant vigilance is ingrained in every campus and in every school district employee across the state. Can you tell us that we're not going to have another active shooter and killing in Texas in the future?
I can't tell you that.
Yeah. Thank you.